Chair. Welcome, Mr. Attorney General. It is good that you're here, and I appreciate that you're here. Thank you. I noticed that President Biden's budget request for the Justice Department states that its goal is to uphold the rule of law. I appreciate this goal, but I don't see a budget that truly supports this vision. I see cuts to resources for local law enforcement who are struggling right now. I see the elimination of a program that helps put criminal, illegal aliens in jail. And I'm seeing cuts like these in favor of more spending to fulfill President Biden's political goals. Smart and responsible budget cuts are important, but if you really want to uphold the law, cuts to law enforcement programs aren't the right place to start. For example, your funding request for the Community-Based Violence Intervention and Prevention Initiative is $110 million more than the funding you're seeking for the Regional Information Sharing Systems Program, known as RISC. RISC is a proven communications program that helps state and local law enforcement combat criminal activity. As nice as community intervention programs are, they'll never replace the men and women in uniform who hold the thin blue line every single day. The President's request actually tries to cut funding for the RISC program by several $1 million. Did the department assess a reduced need for RISC funding for FY25? Because that's not what I'm hearing from Nebraska sheriffs.
I have to say that funding for state and local police is a high priority for the Justice Department. We're asking for more than $4.3 billion in funding for state and local police and $16.5 billion in a mandatory program over 5 years. We're asking for an increase in our COPS hiring program of 893.5%, $2.5 billion total, $2.3 billion increase. That money goes for state and local police hiring. We're asking for $524.5 million for burden JAG grants, $323 million, a $7.5 million increase for our Office of Violence Against Women grants, which focus on local law enforcement and prosecutors. We've asked for $133 million for our public safety officers benefit program. I
know, excuse me, I have limited time, but I know there are a number of programs out there, but specifically to the RISC program, which is a program that really offers secure information sharing and communications capabilities, investigative support services, and that all enhances our officers' safety. And so what I'm hearing is the priority for that program, which we're looking at a $4 million decrease, and the President's requesting $40 million. You compare that to the Community-Based Violence Intervention Prevention Initiative, that has increased a top line to $250 million over 5 years. So why we're looking at, in the FY24 budget, $0 for that program, we're now looking at $150 million increase in that program. So I'm just curious if you reach out to local law enforcement, which I know you do, but do you hear a priority being for the RISC program as well?
I'm sorry and maybe even embarrassed to say that I'm not sufficiently familiar with the RISC program. I have spoken constantly. We meet quarterly with state and local law enforcement, and I've gone to more than 40 U.S. attorneys' offices to meet with state and local. This issue hasn't been raised for me, but I will ask my staff to get back to you. Many of the things you're talking about sound like things that are also covered by the other grant programs. But
we also face issues because of the chaos that we see at our southern border. There's a program that you have there. It's one of the few programs that help states with that. It's the State Criminal Alien Assistance Program, which the President has proposed to cut funding to that entirely entirely. Reason being that it's a duplicative program. My time is out, but I'd like to submit a couple more questions to you if you could respond to it, and specifically that program, because we are seeing across this country cities, states, seeing increased needs for these assistance programs because of the chaos that we see at our border, and to find one that, again, is working for my state, and to see that being cut, I'd like to explore the answers that you provide for that.
I'll be happy to answer the question.
Thank you, sir, very much.
Yeah.
Thank you, Senator Fischer.
Madam Chair, if I could,
yes.
I realize I confused my answer to the senator's question about the House bill for 702, because there have been quite a number of House bills. The one that passed the House is the one that we do very strongly support. It's the one that passed last week, and I do urge the Senate to pass that bill.
Well, thank you for that clarification. Senator Coons.
Thank you, Chair Shaheen. Thank you so much, Attorney General Garland.